shitlords, shit ladies. It's fucking Gamergate again. It's video 11 of video 11 of a 3-video series. Fuck. It's your hamster in a man suit. Let's talk hamster to shitlords. It's been stupid the last weekend, this last few days. It's only been a day since my last video, but something I want to talk about. Something I want to talk about for a while, but it keeps getting filtered out through other things and other crazy, cracked out fucking moron shit. But let's start with topical stuff, and then we'll go to my stuff, which isn't really angry stuff. Anita Sarkeesian goes on Colbert Report last night, and people are either pissed or laughing in Gamergate, and it's actually kind of adorable that we have these two camps. It's the most divisive thing anyone's done to Gamergate is talk to Stephen Colbert. Now, personally, I don't really find his shtick that funny. He can be very funny, but the shtick wears thin on me. I don't like it when people do it with sincerity. I don't terribly find it that much funny when they do it without it. There's a level of satire I'm not a huge fan of, and it kind of falls into that category. And so you have the question of whether or not he was doing this as a "we support you, Anita," or he was doing this as a "I'm a character and I'm having a good laugh." And I think it honestly was a mix of both. I think he thought it would make good television, it would get his ratings up, because a lot of people from Gamergate were watching it. It'd get his ratings up a bit, and he could have a bit of fun with it. And I think that's why he did it. He's a stand-up comedian who did good. And so there's that. But in the aftermath of it, Brianna Wu's reaction to her comments that it's just video game industry in itself is inherently sexist, is no, it's not enough female game devs. And so now we have a split there, and Suey Park, who's kind of been in favor of Anita Sarkeesian's like, well, fuck you. You went on Stephen Colbert. He won't even have me on. But Anita sponsored the fucking cancel Colbert thing. And so Suey Park is now making a bid that it's about racism. And we're watching them kind of throw rocks at each other very lightly and gingerly because they don't want to look like they're having a fight. And it's a little adorable. Jim had a wonderful little blowout the other day. I don't remember the entire thing. My favorite part was shut the fuck up about ethics. The cool kids are trying to make things that are fun to do. Insinuating he's among the cool kids, because that's what we're talking about. And so kind of showed his hand a little bit more. He's not consumer advocate. He's just an entertainer. Fine. He still hasn't called me a Klansman or a monster or a right-wing sock puppet. He's just been kind of a shithole who doesn't want this conversation going on anymore because he doesn't see ethics being an important part of the job. Speaking of which, Ian Miles Chung, if you're in Gamergate, you know who I'm talking about. Tiny Yellow Hitler. He has now stated, who the fuck cares about ethics in games journalism? It's goddamn games journalism. So, good job as an editor of a thing. Worked real well for the editor of Destructoid when he just went, "It's a blog! That's what you are, just bloggers!" So now he's resigned. Hopefully Ian can go the way, but he's really too busy blowing John McIntosh to do anything about that. Him and Movie Bob's trying to get in there to at least get his lips on the balls, but not quite as important as Ian, I think. It was really nice when they told a woman to shut up when they were talking about Christina Summers being feminist and what constitutes a feminist. Because that's very indicative. It's stupid. It's it's so stupid it makes me stutter. But that's the difference between a freedom feminist and an identity feminist. It's not about freedom or equality or fidelity or fucking honor or ethics or morality. It's about who has the best score in the oppression Olympics. Well, I've got a very low score. I mean, by default, I mean, there's some colleges in the cross country that declare me racist because I happen to be white. University of Delaware got leaked a few years ago, and it's making the rounds now. As you know, that's their definition of racism: is you belong to a race that could have or has benefited from the white power structure. Therefore, white. If you're white, you're just racist by default. And they were trying to shove that up the fucking asses of college freshmen. Don't know if they still are. Don't really care. I'm not. When I told my wife, I always commented, Delaware has enough people for a university. So, it's East Coast though. They're fucking crammed in like sardines. But moving on to culpability. Let's talk about culpability. Who's at fault? Is it the journalists for being unethical? Well, Stephen Totilo was on TotalBiscuit yesterday. Not on, on TotalBiscuit. They were talking on YouTube at the table. And if you check there, you'll see, I actually think I might have been the first commenter. I couldn't even finish watching it before I had to comment a couple times. Fucking send out some angry tweets. Because seriously, fuck that guy. But this is why, fuck that guy. Patricia Hernandez has gotten a lot of flack for doing several articles on someone that she lived with, which is, it's so inappropriate, and it's such a conflict of interest. And his response to that argument was, well, she had never been trained as a journalist, so she didn't know. Who's responsible for that? Now he admits, well, he's like, well, it's all in the end. It's in the end my fault. Yeah. You didn't train someone that you called a journalist to act like a journalist. Yes, that's your fault. And you should have stood up right then, and you should have issued a public apology on your site for your lack of business acumen and training of staff. You should have apologized to her for putting her in a situation where she could get into that kind of fucking trouble and that kind of fucking investigation without informing her how to do her goddamn job. But he doesn't believe in public apologies. He thinks a retraction or a note on the article. Now, granted, TotalBiscuit was looking at one of the articles and it didn't have the retraction on it. It didn't have the disclosure on it. But I'm sure that was just a mistake, right? Nathan Grayson. He meets up with her, and then 3 days later, they're in a serious relationship. Well, serious relationship because she was also in a serious relationship with someone else. So, how serious a relationship was it when one of the parties in the three people in it was not aware of the other explicitly? But hey, who the fuck knows? Was it a conflict of interests? Certainly looks like it. Well, that doesn't matter, because he trusts his people. We don't have to trust your people, Steve. That's why you have them behave without reproach. You bristling retard. We don't have to trust them. We trust them because they behave without reproach. When they act or behave or produce in a manner that looks unethical or lacking of integrity or dishonest, then we can only judge them by that, not by your gut feeling of them, you fucking moron. Well, I trust all my reporters to know when they've crossed that line. Do you? Really? We've shown you. They either don't know or don't care. So who's culpable? Not just Stephen Totilo, he's just the only fucking editor-in-chief, and I respect him absolutely. He's the only editor-in-chief who's come out and talked to anyone in anything other than Twitter, and in any regards other than, well, you guys just fucking suck. Or you guys can just suck a fat one. But that doesn't excuse him. He's culpable. He's right. It is, in the end, his fault. He won't replace his journalists. He won't reprimand his journalists. There'll be no public apologies or no public statements regarding their conflicts of interests or their ridiculously impeachable behavior. They'll just do better from here on out, and you'll have to trust him on that. No, we won't. No, we won't. He's got to hang. Ben Kuchera, gotta hang. Ian, Miles, Chung, gotta hang. They are, at the end of the day, the ones responsible. Even if every site revises its ethics policy to be 100% transparent and 100% ethical, these people have shown they have no interest in the ethical policies, and therefore they will not enforce them. They've got to go. Every journalist? No. My wife's like, well, every journalist. Just clear, all the houses got to be cleared. It's like, no. Because when you bring in, say you bring in someone who will actually do ethics, enforce ethical codes, then the ones who refuse to behave ethically will be gotten rid of on their own. But the Game Journal Pros list, that's the sign. That's the key. It's been out there forever. We need to go through that list. Someone needs to get a hold of all of it. And we're never going to. We need to go through that list and find out the people who are behaving unethically, and they've got to go. And since we can't, we've got to assume it's everyone. Because in this kind of thing, you can't assume honesty and decency when you have an industry lying, smearing, and shaming. I feel bad for moderates like Eric Kane, who really just wants everyone to fucking be happy and just get back to goddamn gaming and journalism and let's move on. I think he's a coward, and I think he lacks fortitude and he lacks backbone that he can say ethics are important, but stop talking about them. I feel bad for Leanna Kerner, who really does want to do this. The more I read her tweets, the more she really does want to do this. She's highly reactionary about some things, but fuck it, we all are. But the thing with Anita's really getting to her. Because since she's agreeing with Anita less and less, journalists are responding to her less. Other journalists are responding to her less and less, and they're pushing her out. But we've already pushed her out because she kind of way the fuck too moderate and way the fuck too sensitive for dealing with an entire group of people who were raised in shit talk. And that's the thing that these sensitives aren't getting. When King of Paul says faggot, he's not talking about gay people. When they say spurged out, they're not saying, my God, these guys clearly have Asperger's and they've got a problem. It's just their fucking parlance because we're raised in shit talk. It's why I say retard, moron, fucktard, dipshit, asshole, fucker, cocksucker, motherfucker. All those things. I'm raised as a shit talker. And by a foul-mouthed kind of dad. You know, we are shit talkers, and I'm sorry that offends. But I'm not. Because if I was sorry, I'd change it. And that's my feeling on that. But come on in. You know, we are actually becoming more Care Bear as the months slide on. How ridiculous is that? It's been 2 months and we're being more accepting and kind than we were at the beginning. Because now we're just ground in. We're just in the trenches. And shit, you want to hop on down? You want to grab a cup of coffee? Hop on down, grab a cup of coffee. If you prefer tea, all right, but, you know. But that's the thing. Back to the topic. At the end of the day, the editors-in-chief, Stephen Totilo is absolutely right. The editors-in-chiefs are the ones who are culpable. They're the ones who are responsible for everything that gets put on their site. Now, advertisements are different. That goes through marketing, and there are some things like The Escapist, Archon will occasionally do a publisher's note, but at the end of the day, it's the editor-in-chief who approves all the articles. He's the one who creates the focus of the piece, of the site. It is his responsibility. So, which ones do you trust to uphold ethical guidelines? Given involvement in the Game Journal Pros with no leaks, given involvement with everything up to now, given their stances on smearing us in the public or posting and publishing hit pieces about gamers and Gamergate in general. Their attempt to craft a narrative of victimhood on them, to craft a narrative of monstrosities to the point where they can shame us by virtue of making geek icons hate us. Because, we're so easy to shame. We're so afraid of not being accepted. That's the point. We've not been accepted. That's how most people got into gaming who've been here for a while. Yeah, it's very much in vogue now to be a gamer. And so a lot of gamers are, all of their friends in high school were gamers. But people like me, people 29, 28, 25 and older, I'm way the fuck older than that. People like us, we started because we had like 2 friends, and having a good game system was how we could get more people to come over. I started gaming because my brother had one. And it's the only thing he and I could do together until he got me into tabletop role-playing, and then that was the thing we did together. Hey, you want to say hi again?
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat?
Yeah.
Do I gotta give you a piece of candy now?
Yeah.
Alright.
It's my M&M's.
Those aren't your M&M's. This is for the candy for tomorrow. But you get one right now. Okay? You say hi? Oh, you want peanut? You want peanut or regular?
Regular.
Okay. See? Say bye.
I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
I know. I'd say sorry about that, but again, I'm not. That is why I'm still here. I was starting to lose a lot of my steam at the fucking 7-week mark. And then the shooting, and then it's just toxic masculinity. And you can go after me all you like. You can't go after my son. So yeah, who's culpable? Editors-in-chiefs, publishers, and sometimes. And since they won't answer to us, because we are nobodies, they're clear on the fact that we're nobodies. Since they won't answer to us, then we go to their advertisers, and then they say we're attacking them. It's this whole campaign of terror. Well, maybe if you listened to us, we wouldn't have had to seek outside fucking contact. But you've made it clear you're not interested in listening to us. You've made it clear you're not interested in discussing with us. You've made it clear you're not interested in meeting us halfway. So now it's all or nothing. It's like it says in Dark City. Very into Dark City. Anyone seen that moderately obscure piece of shit? Good movie, but it's... shut it down. Forever. That's my feeling. Game media as it exists, games journalism as it exists, just needs to be shut down. Kotaku, Polygon, Gawker, all these fucking sites need to be shut down, and we need to send a fucking message that you can't lie to your audience anymore. You can't laze your way through your jobs anymore, and you can't treat us like we don't matter anymore. We are your wallets. And now we're talking. and we don't like what you're saying back. So, we're done. And that's all there is to it.